Hello everyone, hope you're having an awesome day today. Welcome to the Film Insight channel. For today's video, we're going to cover even more of the worst restaurants to be featured on 24 Hours to Hell and Back and reveal how they're doing now. So, sit back, relax, and without further ado, let's get right into the content, guys. Fetch Bistro. For a season 1 episode, Gordon Ramsay heads over to Fetch Bistro in Wichita, Kansas to rescue it from closure. Owned by Greg and Pamela Bust, they decided to open the first pet-friendly restaurant in the area. Even though the idea of having dogs and cats around you sounds adorable, it's not ideal since they get their hair everywhere. What's more, the restaurant has no rules or consistency in the front or back of the house and lacks a head chef in the kitchen. To make matters even worse, Pamela seems to be the one who works the most since Greg practically gave up on the restaurant. On the verge of closing down, the owners felt that the only thing that could save them was a professional like Ramsay, so they called him over. When he eventually arrives in a disguise with a group of dog lovers accompanied by their pets, the famous chef immediately notices that there aren't any rules for the dogs, so most of them are running about. Ordering some dog-friendly food and regular food as well, their meals are so awful that Ramsay straight up says that the dog food looks more attractive. Sneaking off to the bathroom to take off his disguise, the famous chef gathers the staff soon after and shows them the hidden footage he recorded. What they're shown are children being barked at, dogs running into the kitchen, cooks not using recipes, and an unsanitary workspace. Holding a meeting with the staff soon after, Ramsay tries to find out if there are any systems in place, but most say that they aren't even trained. Reading some reviews online, they seem to confirm how incompetent the staff is since they all say that the servers are clueless. Additionally, some complain about the use of onions in dog food, which is known to be toxic to dogs. Inspecting the kitchen later on, Ramsay finds a layer of grease on an oven, hot dogs abandoned in a fryer, and spoiled meat. Forcing the staff to clean the kitchen, the famous chef pulls Sue, the kitchen manager, aside and gives her the head chef position since she has 30 years of experience. Next, the famous chef trains the staff on how to cook the new meals he'll be introducing and gives them some concrete recipes. Lastly, Ramsay has a one-on-one with Greg and shows him footage of his wife complaining about their lack of intimacy. Meeting with her soon after, Greg apologizes for distancing himself from her and the business and vows to help out more. After deep cleaning the kitchen, giving the restaurant some solid rules, and revamping the decor, Fetch Bistro was given the second chance it needed. Post 24 Hours to Hell and Back, the owners expressed that their time with Ramsay was stressful and that they were worried about how the episode would portray them. Nonetheless, they pointed out that it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to work with Ramsay and they truly felt he cared about their success. More than likely due to the fact that the restaurant was in a deep pool of debt, it closed down in April of 2019. Supposedly, the owners believed that the reason their business failed was because of the location, but we're not so sure about that. Patrick Molloy's. Gordon Ramsay heads over to Patrick Molloy's in Hermosa Beach, California to bring it back on its feet. Owned by Alice, her husband Fred, and their son Patrick, they've been struggling to keep the business afloat. This is mostly due to the fact that there's constant tension between Fred and Patrick, which causes a toxic work environment. Not only does it cause stress for Alice, but the staff doesn't know who to follow, so they misbehave pretty frequently. Losing $135,000 in the last year, and months away from closing down, the owners call out to Ramsay for some aid. Upon his eventual arrival disguised as a surfer with a group of other surfers, they order some chicken wings, tacos, shepherd's pie, and a pizza, which all tasted rancid. Already fed up with his experience, Ramsay takes off his disguise, gathers the staff together, and shows them some of the hidden footage he captured. What they're shown is the staff being inappropriate, getting into arguments, a filthy and moldy kitchen, cross-contamination, and more. Holding a staff meeting later on, the famous chef attempts to understand the issues at hand and learns that there's a lack of leadership. Both Fred and Patrick admit that they've given up, and the head chef Gabby exposes the fact that their wings are normally days old and simply reheated. Reading out the customer reviews, Ramsay highlights that practically no one is satisfied with their experience. Heading into the kitchen to inspect around, Gabby reveals that they don't do any deep cleaning, which is pretty clear. Urging the staff to thoroughly clean the area, Ramsay pulls Gabby aside in the meantime for a chat. Throughout the conversation, Gabby claims that he loves being in the kitchen, but Ramsay points out that it feels more like he's given up, especially when he's serving 5-day-old chicken to customers, so he encourages them to step things up. Later on, the famous chef tries to get Patrick and Fred to see eye to eye, which would be crucial to the restaurant's success. Helping them understand that their actions are not only affecting the business, but Alice as well, Ramsay makes it clear that they need to get along if they want the restaurant to thrive. Meeting back up with the staff soon after, the 24 Hours to Hell and Back host shows them some simple but delicious dishes that they're going to master. This included things like fresh Caesar salad, steak frites, shepherd's pie, fish tacos, spicy chicken wings, and more. Briefly going over the new recipes, Ramsay tasked the staff with making the dishes for the next 6 hours, which would be sampled by everyone later on. With 9 hours left before the relaunch, the famous chef gathers the staff once again and gets them to try the food, which tastes delicious. Seemingly making some progress with Patrick and Fred, the two apologize for the problems they caused and promise to work together moving forward. Following what is hours of renovating and mending broken relationships, Patrick Molloy's was finally ready to relaunch. Aside from the hiccups at the beginning of the service, the customers had nothing but positive feedback, making the relaunch a success. Months after the taping of this episode, the business's sales drastically increased and the owners were making enough money to fund their traveling escapades. Unlike in the past, the restaurant mostly gets positive reviews and has a solid 3.5 stars on Yelp. Most seem to praise the improved decor and delicious food, while others complain about the poor service quality. Assuming you're interested in visiting this restaurant, it's one of the few rescues that's still open to this day. We recommend visiting if you're nearby. Shermans Restaurant. As our final entry, we're going to cover a business that Gordon Ramsay tried to save from closure called Shermans Restaurant. Purchased by Peter and Allison Nimrod back in 2012, they decided to keep the business's original name since they didn't think their own name would fit. Even though they inherited the restaurant's customer base, it started to dwindle down with time since they have no experience in the industry. To make matters even worse, Allison is obsessed with responding to reviews online but doesn't even use the feedback. Being hopelessly in debt and close to shutting things down permanently, the owners call out to Ramsay for his guidance. Arriving later on disguised as a farmer with a group of other people, they think that the exterior is bland and that the decor on the inside is revolting. What's more, they get a whiff of an awful stench in the air and notice that the carpet is oddly sticky. Ordering a collection of staple southern dishes from the menu, everything they're served is clearly microwaved. Feeling infinitely unimpressed, Ramsay takes off his disguise, shuts things down, and brings the staff to his Hell on Wheels truck to show them some damning footage. What they're shown are clips of Allison putting leftover condiments back into a dispenser, Steve googling how to cook dishes, overflowing grease traps, cockroaches, and an unsanitary prep area. Holding a staff meeting soon after, Ramsay reads out some of the reviews and the employees admit that they microwaved the food. Additionally, Allison's responses to the reviews are completely unprofessional since she gets very hostile and lies about the freshness of the food. Heading into the kitchen to snoop around, Ramsay finds even more gunk in the grease traps and Steve reveals that he isn't sure when it was last cleaned. The famous chef also notices that they have 5 microwaves and learns that they have 3 more on the way. Moving on to the walk-in, Ramsay's nose is assaulted with the pungent smell of rotting meat, which could be hazardous if served to patrons. Clearly, the executive chef Steve isn't fit to run a restaurant when the kitchen is this bad, but Allison doesn't see him as the problem. Soon after, Ramsay takes the kitchen staff to his truck to show them the new menu, which would make improvements to the current one. Leaving them with his team to be trained all night, by the end of things, the restaurant's sous chef Nicole was excelling while Steve was struggling. Urging that the owners fire Steve due to his negligence and incompetence, they actually let him go and give the executive chef position to Nicole. By dawn, the kitchen staff was completely done practicing the new menu, and the Sherman's team was finally able to sample the food. Considering the fact that everything they tried was delicious thanks to Nicole, Ramsay congratulates her for her promotion and gives her a white chef's jacket. Now that everything was in place, including the renovations, the restaurant was given the second chance it needed. Several months after the taping of this episode, the restaurant seemed to be getting great reviews and Allison stopped responding to every single one. Despite the fact that the restaurant was successful and growing for years, it closed down in January of 2021 as a result of a kitchen fire. Well, that'll be all for today's video here on the channel. I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to drop a massive like down below and comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more content like this and turn on those sweet bell notifications for instant access to our content. Have a good one, guys.